it wasn't. And just to confirm, today is in fact Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. Current time now is 12:14 a.m. Let's go ahead and text Christian happy birthday. Let's go ahead and text Christian happy birthday because he does turn 20 today. And so although I am up, I am busy. I think he be on the gifts, the GIFs, right? Is that what it is? Let me see if they got one of them. Hold on, let me find one. Okay, I see some people. I'm just trying to see what she got. Let me see. Okay, let's use this one. I like this one. How is that? Let's see. Hold on. Let me. Excuse the chair. This Seth is the one that be jumping in the chair all day. Is it gonna play? Wait. Oh, it looked like it just changed. Hold on. Let me see. Keep this in. We don't edit stuff. Look. Let me see. Does it? Oh, he just looks at the cake. Okay, that's cute. That's cute. He just looked down at the gate. It didn't. Unfortunately, it didn't. I get there. I explain everything. I think my brother may have already called and dropped a dime. And so technically, she had already started drinking. It was anticipating my arrival, allegedly. And so when I get there, I explain everything, and he just texted me. Let me see what he said. I put about $200-$300 in her hand, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just figure it out, and here you go. I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out. Some way, somehow, she ended up calling the police. This was back in 2019, so she could clearly allege that I'm being disrespectful, because that's always the go-to excuse for her. It's never her. It's always I'm being disrespectful. It's never you antagonizing or you being emotionally manipulative or, it's never, it's always, oh, she disrespectful. That's accurate. That's going to always be accurate. But don't leave out the accountability on your end. But anyway, the police officer pulled up and I was like, okay, well, tell her to get my money back. I'll leave. I'm like, I just gave this woman $200-$300. I'm like, tell her to give me my money back and I'll leave. I'm like, that's the reason she called you, because she don't want to give me my money back. She didn't call you because there was an issue. She called you because she doesn't want to give me my money back, but she wants me to leave. Ma'am, give me my money back. I'll leave. It wasn't no issue. I wasn't going to make a big deal about it. Now she didn't convince the police officer to give her a ride to the ATM, a ride to the corner store, all that. Of course, I have to deal with her antagonization all night, with her drinking and doing this and doing that. Of course, it's giving, it's giving Villa North all over again. How about that? How about that? It's giving Villa North all over again. Anyway, so talking a lot. So, this is the beginning of like a major roller coaster with her. A major roller coaster. Remember, I've just gotten evicted and I'm trying to figure out what's step 2. Somehow I convinced myself to, you know, take people off of child support. Bad idea, bad idea, bad idea. Look, some way, somehow, I had convinced myself of that. Bad idea. Because Ernest had came and got the girls. But what I found out was when I went to go and try to get the girls, that the girls had somehow made it to Augusta with his parents. I wasn't informed or anything. And so, okay, I'll take you off of child support. They're gonna be with your parents. Okay, that's cool. And if I take you off of child support, the only thing I ask you to do is to pay the storage. Only thing I ask you to do is to pay the storage. I want to say I was probably about 2 weeks late when I got that email, when I saw the email. When I actually saw the email, because I'm struggling with internet access. My mom, she didn't have internet, she didn't have Wi-Fi. And it took me a minute to find out that the library offers free hotspots that you can check out for like, I think a week or two or something like that, like 2 weeks or something, give or take. Back then, I don't know about it now, but I know back then they was offering free hotspots. And it was only, you had to call around and you had to figure out who had one available. And then I think once you reserved it over the phone, I think you had like an hour to get there. And so just imagine walking from Clarkston to Decatur Library just to get the hotspot, Lord. And so by the time I checked my email, the storage is delinquent. It's about to get ready to get auctioned off. Oh, it's been auctioned off. Whoop-de-doo. And now I'm frantic. I didn't call the storage people and, oh, well, we can't give you all that kind of information. I'm like, don't give me their information. You call them and give them my information and tell them to call me. I'm like, well, we told them that, so that's everything. That was everything. Baby pictures, Christian's baby pictures before we went digital. All that's gone. Books, gone. Everything else, I don't care nothing about no washer and dryer. I don't care about no TV. I don't care nothing about no furniture. I'm like, it was the baby pictures for me. Because those photo albums were not easy to make. And they took a lot of... But anyway, I ended up renting a car and trying to do Lyft. Find something to do, make some money, give it to my mom and stuff like that. Somehow I convinced myself to go get the girls, bring them over there to my mom's, have them with me because it's just so depressing without them, being stuck over there with her and, all of the antics, all of her antics. Then I attempt to go and get Christian. Because remember, he was at his friend's, and I was going by to see him, taking food over there and stuff like that, checking in on him and things of that such, just keeping open communication with him. And so, let me back up. Because I didn't attempt to go and get him from his friend's house. I attempted to go and get him because my mom and her sister, which is my aunt, they're going to check in on Christian as well. Same as with me. I'm not necessarily sure how I became a topic of discussion when they went to go and visit him and see how he was doing in regards to them talking to the friend's mom. But some way, somehow, oh yeah, I haven't seen her. Which they use that as a catalyst to take Christian from over there and have him move in with my aunt. Now, I remember running into this friend's mom in Walmart one time, but as far as the duration that my son was living over there, when I came over there and she was not there, I understood that she worked. And I understood that we was on different time zones. But one thing I do know is that she always knew when she got home, she always knew when I had been there. Because when I came, I bought groceries. I didn't just come and, hey, let me bring you some chips and a soda. I mean, I was bringing groceries. That's how I ran into her at the Walmart. I'm shopping for the household. I'm not, coming with a bag of chips and a soda. I was bringing groceries. She knew I had been there. You know what I mean? It was just we weren't on the same time zones to actually see each other, which was totally fine. Like he knew her, they knew each other, and that's all that mattered. She was okay with him being there. I was okay with him being there, catching the bus, going to school every day. We were good. So then I attempt to go and get my son from my aunt's house. I'm like, you ain't got to be over there. You can be over here with me and the girls and stuff like that. So I go to my aunt's house to pick up Christian. He's not there. But I proceed to get his things. And, you can just drop him off whenever he gets back. I'm standing in the driveway, and my aunt's husband, hey, I'll go get the stuff and I'll bring you back out. Okay. I should have just went to the car. But against my better judgment, I decided to just stay in the driveway and wait for him to bring my son's things. And then out of nowhere, I just hear my aunt's voice say, I don't have nothing to say to that hoe. And so in my head, the house has just went up in flames. Only in my head. And so with a few choice words on the way back to the car, I proceeded to remind people that that's how you end up in hell, for having evilness in your heart. And then all of a sudden, there is someone running behind me. I can't say chasing because I'm not running, I'm just walking to the car. But I hear somebody running behind me, violently and aggressively. And then as I proceeded to open the car door and get in the car, I just feel someone attack me from behind. Very violently and aggressively, to the point to whereas their hand ended up in my mouth. Their finger, one of those fingers ended up in my mouth, and I just remember biting down as aggressively as I could until that finger and that hand and that grip and all that anger released itself from me. And then I remember my aunt's husband walking down the driveway looking so confused as to how and what just happened, when all he did was walked inside, grabbed a bag, turned around, and came back out. He's like, what is going on? I'm like, ask them. Go ahead, ask them and see what they say. Just ask them and see what they say. And so then my son gets dropped off. And in the middle of the night, he just opens the door, walks out back to his friend's house. You know, he didn't walk to my aunt's house. He walked back to his friend's house. I just woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, this dude is gone. Gone. And I was so mad at him because I was like, that is so dangerous. Like, that was so dangerous to be walking in the middle of the night like that. But he was just like, no, he didn't want to, that just wasn't his cup of tea. And so I understood, I respected that, and I just figured it was better for him to be somewhere where he's comfortable and obviously where he's safe. And so I proceeded to move forward and figure out how was I going to continue surviving, living with my mother at the time.